Namaste, family of light. Glad to see everybody here. Um, no sound. Can you hear me? Yes, no? Okay, I can hear. Yeah, I was on mute for a second. Okay, very, very good. Hello, Carol, Donna, Margreta, Vera, Vonda, and all those coming on. Yes, thank you so much. Um, we're going to have actually a special anchoring light meditation. And there are certain times when we could put forth an intention. Done that ever so often, once in a blue moon. It usually comes in, but the intention that we want to do is for those that are really struggling right now. With, of course, Hurricane Helene, as well as other things going around the global thing, just to kind of send forth the Leowish Shekinah, the pillar of light, over the situation, these individuals and environments, and hold that space. So I put forth that intention. We'll see how that anchoring light turns out, but that is an intention that we'd like to put out there because it kind of hits close to home. This devastation everywhere, and I have a friend that I'm trying to reach in Asheville, and North Carolina was hit like really, really, really hard, like really hard. That's a mountain community. And so anyway, and many other places too. So it's not just one place, it's many places that were impacted. Okay. So we're going to get started here in just a moment. Let me just make sure I have everything together here. We don't know. Hello, Elizabeth. How are you? Welcome. Good to see you. Okay. All right. So I wanted to talk about a couple of things before we get started. Um, can I say an announcement? Can I share? Okay, thank you. So we are so excited. I came in here. You need some good uplifting news, right? And we have a powerful little being coming into the world with Christoph and his wife. Yay! And it's a boy. Yes, indeed. So it's so exciting. It's a yeah. So these are, they're coming in and in the conscious community, and these are the powerful little beings that like, we got it from here, Dad. We got it from here, Mom. We know what to do. So we're saying, yeah, there's sometimes they're our greatest teachers, believe me. Okay. So before we get started, there's a couple of things I did want to talk about. Well, let me do the announcements first because there's been so much activity. I did bring something here and I left it over there. Thank you. I wanted to talk about a dear, beautiful sister who's been here. In fact, her second son was literally born with the energy of the anchoring light. And she used to come when she was pregnant with her little boy, and so she has been here for a very, very long time. I see her kids growing up, but she did suffer like a lot with this situation, not only with the Hurricane Helene, but actually her I might have left it in my office, Christoph, I'm not sure. She actually had a house fire, and in this fire, a lot of damage. And what was supposed to happen? She had a place to stay. The landlord is supposed to get it fixed up. Okay, the landlord is not doing as fast as, that's it, as it needs to be. And so that was part of the issue. But then here comes Hurricane Helene, and now her vehicle, her truck, got swamped with water, and she actually had to be rescued with her two kids. So it was just one thing on top of the other. So what we've done is and she's just a beautiful light. We don't usually do this unless it's something very, very special. And so she's a single mom with two kids, okay, and a light. She went to Sedona with us, just a beautiful light. So there is a GoFundMe, and what you could do is go on our calendar of events. No, let me see. Wait, hold on a second. In our newsletter. It's in our newsletter. You will find in our newsletter the link for the GoFundMe account, and anything you could do to help out would be wonderful. We're all here to support each other, and uplift each other in any time. That's why it's good to be part of a tribe and a group. As far as events, wow, this is the last day of September. Hey, Merry Christmas, everybody, and Happy New Year. I mean, that's how fast things are going, right? So everything is going to speed up from here right into January 2025. Oh, that's Rosh Hashanah. That's right. Rosh Hashanah is coming up. That's right. Happy New. Oh my gosh, the holidays are here. Okay, so and that's even before Halloween. So, I know somebody told me they have Christmas decorations up already. Oh, like, oh my gosh. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, here we are speeding along into 2025. So, and it is something I really, really want to talk about, and that I'm so impressed with. I really am. So, I want to talk about the crisis timeline. And I've seen this with other people, but this is what I have felt from the beginning, that we are in this time. In fact, like 30 years ago, 40 years ago, I don't remember. I had a whole thing about door number 1, 2, and 3, that we have a certain level of intention as to how this experience is going to be. I've also spoken to very high luminaries, about this too, and got definitely to remember who we are as powerful co-creators. I know this sounds maybe a little strange, but I spoke to somebody yesterday and last night, and I said this. I said, from a long time ago, I had an experience where this is why I know we can shift timelines, because I had a personal experience with that. And so every time you take your shoes off at the airport, I was given that premonition of a possible timeline, clear as day. I'll never forget it. And it was like, why am I giving a permit? It was where I saw a plane in slow motion, like another 9/11, but it was not a skyscraper. It was like a municipal building, you would see, and it dove down. I was saying, no, not again, not again, not again. It was very traumatic. And everything I looked was reminding me of this very, not a dream, but a dream experience. So I knew, I said, this is a premonition. And I was like really freaked out about it. And I got upset. And then actually, I went to Las Vegas with my mother and my son, and I walked into MGM Grand and into our hotel, and there was this huge window like this, like a rectangle, and it was like the exact kind of dimensions of what I saw in the dream, looking out into the sky. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. So I was very stressed and worried about it. And then I got upset. I'm like, why give me a premonition if you can't do anything about it? And then the thought came to me, well, maybe you can do something about it, So that never occurred to me. So I said, you know what? I was really upset. I said, no, 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 no. I was like, no, this is not happening. No, I don't want this to happen. And that's when I got my iconic Ghostbusters zero with a slash. That's what came. And I visualized that with the slash. And I also was praying. I said, I prayed for this not to happen, well, let me tell you, I just remember it was so eventful in my life. It was like maybe the next day, whatever day, I was still in Las Vegas. I was still in this hotel. And the radio, I think it was a radio, how to listen to a radio or TV, came in and said it was in Heathrow, which I know, London, Heathrow, okay, where a plane and this guy had put explosives in the shoe, like between the shoe and the leather part of it. It was put in there. And the plan was to take it and dive it into a United States embassy. I think it was in Africa, if I remember, and it was going to dive down and do that. And when I heard that, I was stunned, and I was like, first, did I do that? I'm like, wait a minute. I thought about it. I thought about it. I said, you know what? And all of us have this. All of us have this. Maybe, just maybe, for all the people around the world that are praying for peace, all the people whose heart's dreaming is we could live in a balanced, peaceful, loving world. Maybe, just maybe, that thought form, that prayer, and for whatever reason that I got to know about this, and maybe just tipped the scale, just tipped it. And then, of course, went to England, interesting about England, and to Westboro with a crop circle. And the whole purpose of that trip, where I put down, I had a mystic topaz and a crop circle attached to that very section. I put that down and went all the way to England to come all the way back to have it just at the very end. We couldn't even see because it was raining. And then it wasn't until we got to Atlanta, we looked at the website and I'm like, oh my gosh. And it was very rounded. So we called it the Divine Feminine. It was very, very impactful. That was in 20, I don't remember, 2012, I think. I think it was in 2012. Yeah, I think it was in 2012. And all of that was to say, remember who you are and that you are powerful, powerful co-creators. That was the message. And so now we're like, wait a minute, we got to step into our power. We have the ability to shift things. So last night when I was speaking to a friend of mine, I said, I really feel if I put forth my attention, okay, and I bring up the higher thought form, I can do it. And what if we all got together, which is what we're doing, and do it together? We are powerful. We are made in the image of the divine. Like, wait a second. It's like we're waking up out of the stupor and say, we don't have to feel powerless or it's beyond our control. No, that's right. It's the prayer. We did it with the golf. Catherine just mentioned with that, remember what was the golf, Dr. Emoto's prayer, but also when we had the oil spill, remember? And the people in Sarasota came in a chain and said, no, you can't, that oil cannot reach our shores. And it did not. And we've also done it like for hurricanes. We've done it for other things. Of course, we try to put it where it's not as populated, and pray that we may not be able to shift things completely, but we can at the very minimum mitigate it. I know we can. And that is why we do these prayers. We do the prayers for peace on earth. We use the divine names and the purpose why we're doing, Yahweh Shalom, Christopher Shalom, Shekinah Shalom, is to hold a higher thought form, Christed timeline of peace on the earth. I don't care what else is going on other levels. There's those of us that can hold that. It impacts. It absolutely impacts. And you say, oh, it's just me. No, it's just powerful you. That you have the ability. If you're here hanging out with this, you have a very high light quotient, as the Octorians say. And you continue. Yeah. And you don't need to have the masses. Now we may flip the people, like they're starting to awakening, but it's the core. The who are awake and say, I must do this work in whichever way that you're doing it. And it does make a difference. So that whole message about let's stay focused on, not to be that we're not aware. Okay, I'm not talking about that, like, oh, just being ignorant and stupid. No, you have to understand all possibilities. But your time, your interest, and your focus is into the Christed timeline and not into the fair timeline. Because the fair timeline, man, is fair. Somehow we can transcend that. And not only do we help ourselves, but we also help others. So I just wanted to share that, okay, with everybody and to stay on track with that. All right. So we're going to get started now.